Hello there, and welcome to this Microsoft FrontPage tutorial. I'm super excited to bring you this today. We're going to do a lot of really cool stuff over here. It's going to be real fun, real fast, and you guys just might want to strap in because it's going to get wild. I'm actually fully kidding, obviously. But thank you for being here. If you're watching it live or on the replay, I'm not going to click this download button. So if you were excited for that, sorry. But yeah, just wanted to spice it up a little bit. This idea and everything like that did stem from an actual thing that I do want to talk about rather extensively here in this, and we can go back and forth on it. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't, but that's the internet. And I have some other topics that we can chat about as well, because I have been borderline MIA for the last like 12 days on my main channel, which I don't like, but it was all for good reason. As you saw last week, I was setting up the community, links in the description, all that sort of stuff. Modern Builder Society, if you want to go check that out. But ultimately, I need to get back into the swing of things there, and I am excited now that I have a beautiful foundation built. But the main thing, and we'll just dive right into it, this concept of just kind of like what's on my mind. I think I'm going to start using these live streams as obviously like little question type things, Q&As, but also just kind of expressing what I'm thinking about from a week to week perspective. I think that's the best way to utilize these. So the thing that's on my mind right now was that I got a DM, and it was that my website, my marksmancy.co website, had a 72, I think, on mobile when you go to Page Speed Insights. And I'll show you all this. We'll run a test right now and everything. I have some thoughts on that. And I mean, I have some thoughts, but I also like, let's just run the fucking test. Hang on. Let's do that. Let's go over to, let's go over here, and let's go right here. And while this runs and takes a second, I'll show you, just if you haven't seen it yet, I'll show you this. Also, if you want to know more about AI stuff, I'll show you this real quick. This is how I created the YouTube thumbnail for today. I just gave it something like this that I just like whipped up real quickly in Canva, and then I gave it some context like, hey, make this look like more interesting. And it made this crazy ass thumbnail, which I didn't hate. So then I changed it to MS Word, and then ultimately changed it to front page. Because real quick on this, I figured not many people actually built websites with MS Word. I did. I went to like a Catholic school. I remember specifically in computer class in whatever fucking year that was. Somewhere in like 2005 to 10 range. I remember we were actually like building websites in MS Word, and that was a wild experience. But I figured front page was more people would know about that, because that was probably like a professional tool back then. But yeah, so that was funny. Just it's pretty simple, guys. I mean, it's, people give a lot of shit to AI, but like, I mean, it's pretty simple to just tell it what you want to do. I don't know why this comes so easy to me. I'm gonna have to continuously say that. I don't know why this concept of orchestrating comes so easily to me. I don't have like I don't have great ways to describe it. It's literally just tell the thing what you want to do. And it helps if you have some prior knowledge in the domain that you're dealing with, but you do not need to have all the knowledge. And this idea that you have to have all the knowledge is wild, because nobody has ever had all the knowledge. But now we have the ability to have way more leverage with this stuff. So it's just kind of a crazy situation. But yeah, so anyway, that's our site there. And then I don't know why it keeps doing this weird shit. Stop hovering over that. I want to just see it, dude. Okay, thank you. So this is a website. If you didn't see it, obviously it's incredibly slow. I'm waiting 5 hours for each one of these pages to load. And honestly, I think visitors would probably bounce, because they're just waiting so long for this stuff to load on each one of these pages. And it's kind of upsetting. But anyway, so if we go over to Page Speed Insights real quick, we look at this, and they put mobile first for a reason, because people do access the thing on their phone. What I've learned is that this test is not obviously on like a nice new phone with 5G. It's on like some sort of simulated Moto G experience from like 2016 or something like that, with like 4G throttled situation. So that's something to take in consideration, but not everybody has a good phone. Not everybody has good connection. So you definitely do want to optimize as much as possible. So, fair points. Desktop, It's really slow on desktop. I don't know what we're even doing here on Astro, Astro websites. But on mobile here, this is concern, right? Yellow is not green, so we should be concerned with that. I will say that right off the bat, there are 3 reasons in my mind at max to care about this page and this score and this whole system right here, Page Speed Insights. The first one, and the one that gets referenced the most, is like your other peers of you like checking this and having like a pissing match on this. That's like the number one reason that you should care about this. It's the when I say number one, I mean like it's the most prevalent. That's like what's going to happen the most. People are going to come on here, they're going to see like what you're using, and then they're going to check this, and then they're going to be like, oh, that's trash, dude. Okay, so that's number one. That's the first thing. Number two is and this is actually kind of important. If you are building websites for other people and you build a client site with, Astro, what doesn't matter. I'm talking about Astro because this is the situation. We'll try to fix some more stuff and make it 100 here or whatever, but just so I can give you some AI value. But this part right here, if you're looking at this and you have, let's say this is, instead of Mark Szymanski, this is like client so-and-so, right? And if I built that website for them and then they have somebody out there, because people do this actually happened to me, some sort of company that's like an optimization company or some whatever, some people trying to make money on, on like less knowing clients, they will solicit your client and they will run a test like this and they'll say, hey, Mark, or they'll say, hey, client, they'll email them and say, hey, client, your website has a 75 or whatever on mobile. That's real bad. That's real bad for Google. That's real bad for the whatever, world's ending. And they'll email them that. And then that client will end up emailing you. And they'll say, hey, I got this solicitation, sounds scary. Like, should I deal with them? If they're a good client, they will email you instead of responding to the people. But if they're not, then they'll just say yes. And then now you have this situation where you have another service provider in the situation, and it just gets rough. So that's not really a good client practice. So that's actually the number one reason that you should be concerned about this. That's pretty much number one, because that will happen to you, and it's low hanging fruit, even though it's most of the time not actually the situation. So these, we make so much of a deal about the numbers, but we actually don't like look to see how the site is performing from a user experience, because that's the most important part, because no actual real client going to your website or no customer going to your website is actually going to be like, should I do business with these people? Hang on, let me go fucking run the page speed insight score to make sure that they have 100. Okay, so that doesn't happen in the real world. But anyway, so then the last thing, and this is, another decent thing. This is the third reason, is this part up here. Now, apparently, from what I understand here, this situation only gets populated when you have enough actual real user data, because this was a few, maybe, I don't know how long ago, I want to say maybe 5 years ago at this point. I don't know. That they created this thing because they were like, oh, we just have scores now, and this is like raw robot scores testing, and like they realized that based on everything I just said, this is kind of absolute horse shit in some ways in the real world. So they're like, okay, we need to have a better thing, right? And this is where everybody's like, core web vitals assessment passed or failed and all this shit, right? And the idea there is that as I understand it, this is in the last like 28-day period, like these people, these actual real visitors to your site, what has their actual experience been like? And that's more or less what this section is. And obviously, if you're a person that is, realistic, this matters way more than the robot scores, because the robots aren't people that are buying shit from you. So these people that are visiting your site are having a good experience if this is passed, right? This is a simplified explanation of all this sort of stuff, right? You can see what all these different things are if you check all this out. And we'll go over in Claude Code in a little bit, and we'll play around with some of these things to see if we can make it better on mobile, whatever. But this is the whole thing, right? So, but just off the bat, like this is the main point that I wanted to make, is that this is obviously more important. This concept is more important, and in general, this is what you should probably be concerned about. Now, over here on mobile, I think what this is telling me that not enough people have searched, not enough people have hit my website on mobile yet for this data to actually appear. It's understandable. I mean, I think a lot of the users that are going to my website are on desktop, so that's probably the case there. So other than that, um, yeah, that's kind of like the nuts and bolts of kind of what I wanted to talk about. But obviously, again, extremely slow from a user experience. I'm waiting a very long time for these pages to load, and we should probably do something about it. I actually do need to talk about this because this is actually probably part of the issue on mobile. So we'll talk about that in a second. I've got a couple questions here, questions here from Deluzo. What's up, brother? Looking forward to your journey from Astro to FrontPage to eventually ditching it all and going with the Adobe Go Live. It's funny. I never even, obviously, I never used, like I said, I didn't use FrontPage. It's literally the first time I've heard of Adobe Go Live, so that's pretty cool. And like I said, the very first thing that I ever did was Microsoft Word, and then, I mean, it was just basically like HTML and CSS with like those. Was it like, I don't know if it was even tables. It was like almost like panes. I actually have it somewhere. Maybe I could bring it up. I can't remember what the URL is right now, but like that was like the very first time. It was kind of crazy. So it's been, I've had some experience, but you know, I didn't get the pleasure of Dreamweaver or anything like that. Please remove all images, CSS, and JS to get a higher page speed score. It's far more important to have a high page speed than providing a decent experience for any dumb end user. It's far more important to have a high page speed score than providing a decent experience for any dumb end user. I'm not sure if that's a joke. Is that a joke? Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not gonna do that. Obviously, I'm not gonna remove all my things. But I mean, I will jump in and I will kind of like see, because like, you know, after I did realize that, because I genuinely didn't care, because the only time I've ever gone to this is when my site is ass and I'm like I'm trying to see like what the actual information is telling me, and then you know, like what my scores are based on how bad I feel like the site is, and you know, then from there I kind of go about my business accordingly. So we'll get rid of FrontPage, RIP FrontPage. That was crazy. I don't even know if I guess you can still download that. That's pretty impressive. But all right, so let's go over here. Let's go to let's go here and let's just have a chat with the old Claudster, because this is how the world works now. Hey there. So here's the situation. I need you to look at the code base here, get familiarized with it. Specifically, we're testing on the homepage, but I want to try some other things. So I threw the homepage into PageSpeed Insights, and I'm getting a 100% on desktop, but I'm getting a 75 on mobile because obviously it tests it, throttles it, etc. The website on mobile with a normal experience is not slow by any means. It's very fast. But you know, for people that care about page speed scores, we should probably appease. Yeah, I'm looking at it on my phone right now. It's lightning. But for people that care about page speed scores, we should probably try to figure out how to make that page speed score better on mobile. So I think there's some things that we could do. Specifically on the home page, we could try a few different things. I think there's a Senja. The Senja API is pulling information in at build time and then displaying it all. And there's like a lot of there's technically a lot of images and everything down there. Just take a look at the homepage, see what you think. And then we can kind of go from there as far as some other things. Also, I will paste in the report from PageSpeed Insights just to give you more context on what's actually going on there. My man. Yeah. We're jokesters today. All right, so let me see here. Let me go I think a lot of weirdness. A lot of weirdness. I mean, the other things that I wanna kind of like, let me go Alt Shift Z and then paste that in there. There we go. I mean, there's just a lot of other things, right? So like if you come from the WordPress world, you know, I built WordPress websites for a while. I still do. And if you build in WordPress, there's like a lot of inherent baggage that comes with that. It's monolithic. There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of bloat. But I think that from my experience, like when I started building with Elementor sites, there was a lot of bloat there, and then I had to layer in Jet Engine, which is another thing I want to talk about here real quick. I was thinking about trying to make a video from a live stream. I don't know if I'll necessarily do all that, but I do need to make a video about that, but we'll come back to it. But you get a lot of bloat, right? When you start building more things and trying to be more complex and stuff like that. And then the problem that happens is that you just get to this point where there's too much shit on your WordPress website. And with WordPress, at least the demographic that normally, deals with WordPress, you're not going to like go in and you're not going to make a more customized experience per se. You're going to use plugins. You're basically going to add to the experience in order to make things. I'm generalizing, but you tout the idea that like there's 500 million websites or whatever the crazy number is. Not all those people are like nearly technical. It's like a very small percentage of them that could actually understand what's going on and then adjust accordingly if they needed to. So, it's a robust system, a lot of legacy, a lot of good, but there's like a lot of that going on. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is pertaining to the PageSpeed Insight stuff is because I got into those situations where like my website was slow and it's like, okay, well, I'm using Cloudflare, I'm using this, whatever. Okay, well, now maybe you download a caching plugin. Maybe you download, like Redis for object caching. Maybe you download some sort of other shit. Like with GridPane, I know they give you the Nginx helper, stuff like that. All these different things to just kind of like make things like a little smoother, a little faster in different places. And then you end up downloading an actual optimization plugin. So either one of the free ones that may work, whatever. I never really tried the free ones, or you go NitroPack, or you go Perf Matters. And it's like those things. I'm not saying they're doing things illegitimately, but they absolutely are doing things that are specific for page speed score. Like they're not even just, they're obviously not just doing things for experience. They're doing things for page speed score. And then you come over here into Astro land where you have to be the fucking developer effectively. You don't have to know the syntax, but you have to be the architect. You got to figure the fucking shit out. Like it's like that's how it goes. But that's a slight con of the situation that you have to like do more work and do more, like research and prompting and understanding. But at the same time, like you have so much more control. So I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of an interesting situation that I've found myself in, and I actually really enjoy it. So let's try to fix this issue up here, and real quick while I'm doing this, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go just for funsies. I'd like to look at a different page because I do suspect that me having all of this shit down here, even though it is still lightning fast from a user experience, we want to appease the numbers as well. I want to go to another page that has less shit on it, like maybe something like this, and just so we can have like a baseline estimate. If we could go here and search that, that's another funny thing too, right? I'm not wrong in saying this. I could be. I always could be wrong. That's the type of person that I am. I can be proven wrong. If you go right here, this is only testing this one page. So like your page, your home page could be really fast, but the rest of your website could be shit as well, by the way. I think if I'm understanding that correctly, there's something called Unlighthouse that I heard from, first time I heard about it was from Julian Galuzzo in that video that I reacted to. This is amazing, and I could probably just tell this thing to do this, and we could just do this all inside our project here. I tried to do this one time, and I like accidentally clicked it twice, and it made my whole computer freeze. So like I think this like runs this almost like within your stuff. So I don't know if this is a safe, good idea to do while streaming, but maybe we will come back to this. I will put a pin in that for a moment and take a look at that. Okay. So again, as an interesting example here, again, obviously desktop is mighty slow, but over on mobile, we are better here. Now this is still kind of like, from the score, for the score people, this is still concerning, and I can understand that because it's not green and there's like not really much on this page. So we'll have to investigate that a little bit. But if we could crack the nut on one of them, then we could crack the nut on the rest. Also, I was doing some other research last night on my drive home from my ball hockey game. I was talking to Gemini, and I was wondering, I think part of this is because this is a hypothesis, okay? I think part of the reason this happens is because there's stuff that's being loaded potentially, and it's like it's as PageSpeed is looking at this, PageSpeed Insights is looking at this, like it's saying there's stuff that's supposed to be getting loaded, like JavaScript or something like that, and it's not getting loaded, so it's counting it kind of against it in a way because it's taking a while for it to actually spin up. I don't know if that's true. I got to figure that out. I thought that was going to be the case on the homepage, but on those other pages, I don't really know exactly why that would be the case. But needless to say, this is how you figure out problems now, and we're going to figure it out. Testimonial is a DOM bomb. That's funny. You're fetching 20 testimonials, splitting them into 2 rows, and duplicating each row for the seamless loop. That's 40 testimonials on cards, DOM with each loop, avatars. Okay. It's a lot of HTML payload images, DOM nodes. The trusted by logos. Okay. Proposed optimizations. Here's what I recommend. Roughly in order of impact. Reduce testimonial count on the marquee. See, this is a problem for me because, you know, something like this is annoying because, you know, in the WordPress land, I'm just comparing it to there. I'm not saying it's like the end all be all, but over there, you know, things are touted as like, just turn this shit on and everything will be fixed, right? This is not a solution. The solution to our problem is, and I'm not sure if this is possible, but a solution to our problem shouldn't be change your data / your layout / your website to make things faster from a visual, you know, from a user experience perspective, because this would be a different, you know, it's like, can you possibly, the question is, what if the requirement of the project was to have 100 testimonials on this page? Is it not possible can both of those things not coexist and have that happen? Can you not have like 100 testimonials as well as like a 100-page score? Is that possible? Is that not a thing? So that's something I'm gonna bring up there. Lazy load the trusted by logos. They're below the fold on mobile. You can add lazy loading. Okay. Add a smaller hero image breakpoint. You have on mobile, but okay. This would much smaller to download. Okay. Defer the testimonial section entirely on mobile. Since it's well below the 4, we could use a lighter initial render and hydrate show them via intersection observer. Reduce the style is inline block is line. Okay. What do you want to tackle? Let's start with items 1 to 3. In my additional research, I heard something about Party Town. What is that? Sounds crazy, but apparently it's an Astro thing. I don't know. I wouldn't let AI sit in the driver's seat, only the front seat. Okay, you're gonna have to elaborate on that a little bit, but I mean, I think I understand your concern, but I probably don't share it the same way. I don't really let the AI necessarily drive. I let AI do the work. I have an idea of what I want to do in mind. I have lived experience and knowledge that I have amassed that I know pretty much, like, you know, I'm going to rant for a quick second. We have been doing the same shit for a very long time. We've just been doing it in a different way. In the past, we would have to go learn the information, but you didn't know the information. You would watch a YouTube video, you would do a Google search, you would look on Stack Overflow, do whatever. You'd probably copy and edit some code from Stack Overflow if it was a coding situation, right? Everyone has been doing this shit the same way for a very long time. This is just a new way and a more efficient way to do the same shit that we did before. And the one thing that has to be really, really importantly understood here is that most of this information, even though it is, again, LLMs, there's going to be another iteration of this. But right now what we have is LLMs, which means it's predictive text model, which is, it's probabilistic in nature. You ask it the same thing twice, it's not going to give the same answer. We get all that. But the thing is, like, it's still trained on information that is out there on the internet. And if you tell it what to look at too, like if you want to understand it about an API and you give it the actual API docs specifically, it's going to look at that shit and it's going to tell you what's in there without you having to spend all of your time reading that and all of your time human synthesizing that. So I don't tell people what to do. That's just not my personality, but this has absolutely helped me move faster, be better, and feel better about the things that I'm doing because I don't have to know everything now. I can just like learn as I'm going with some of these things, and it can do a lot of the heavy lifting on the actual work part of it. So I just think that I understand it's scary. I understand that there's a lot of concern around that, but I'm not trying to do anything super crazy with these tools. I'm trying to just make my life easier and make websites. And if we're being honest with yourself, this is the last thing I'm going to say. It's going to really upset some people. Most of the websites that are being built that I see, like they're not mission critical. If it goes down, if it has a bug, the world ends, right? So I think sometimes we take our stuff just a slightly little bit too seriously. If you really like doing this stuff, if you like coding, if you like design, if you like whatever, please, for the love of God, do not outsource that to AI. I don't like designing. I don't like coding. I don't like those types of things. I like being an architect. I like solving problems at a system level and architecting that stuff out. And that is, for me, exactly what this thing lets me do. So I don't know if that answers your question. I don't know if that's where you're going with that, but that's just in general kind of the way I see it. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to be last thing, super last thing. We have self-driving cars. People are in self-driving cars right now. It's literally, it's a direct analogy to what we're saying here about the driver's seat and passenger seat. Just think it's where we're going. And I don't think or claim to have enough of I don't think that I have the power to impact the direction of where that's going. So I'm going to leverage where it's going naturally, or like where, whatever is controlling that to happen. I'm not gonna go against that. Cause also like, I don't disagree with it entirely. So yeah, that was a little random rant preamble thing there for you. What is Party Town? Moves most party anything off the main worker. This idea that scripts like your bento analytics and plausible don't need to compete with your packages, your pages rendering CPU time as official thing. Okay, is it for a specific score? I'm not sure Party Town will move the needle as much. Okay. Well, Gemini apparently lied to me then. The big problem is LCP at 5.0. Okay, Party Town also introduced quirks. Some scripts won't load. Okay, so this is more, it seems like this is more for like scripts and stuff. Okay. All right, well, let's try the DOM weight optimization stuff here. I really don't like the idea. I really don't like the idea of reducing the testimonial count, though. I mean, like, just trying to like understand this. Like, what if you needed like 100 testimonials and you wanted to, you had to have 100 testimonials on a page, but you also wanted 100% mobile optimization score. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't really seem like that's like a viable solution. Is there not a way to have both, like a large amount of testimonials and, in this case, and a very high page score? Oh, Party Town is an Astro must-have. Also check out the plugins from Playform and Playform Compress. Interesting. Party Town is specifically for lazy loading all the things. Okay. Well, I'm getting mixed stuff here on Party Town, because I heard about it on Gemini when I was doing some stuff, and then not here. It's telling me some other shit. Reducing content to hit a score is the wrong approach. The real answer is virtualization, right? Lazy rendering. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. What I'd really love to do is I don't want to do what I really want to do, because that's a bad idea. That's kind of like a really unethical idea. But what I'd love to do is like take, I'd like to take other, like have it look at other software and see what it does. And then just do that in this environment, like other optimization software. Render only visible cards, a small buffer for marquee 3 to 38 pixels, or maybe 4 to 5 pixels are visible at a time. You could start with it. Okay, what the fuck is this? Use content visibility autos. Content. Okay. You could apply this here, testimonial section, intersection observer on the section. Don't render testimonial cards. Okay, lazy navigating load on testimonial, lazy, okay. 2 or 3, keep all 20 testimonials. Don't make the browser pay for them at load page. I mean, I'm down to try something here. Yeah, let's try that. Cool. Build out initial as static, then hydrate when in view. Interesting idea. Might have to run that by my AI here. I wanted to check something. Didn't want to check this. 75, 85. I wanted to see I have this thing over in this other section here. Let me see, where the heck is this at? Hang on a second while this goes. Oops. Where is this at? There we go. Okay. Whoop. All right. I want you to review this plan. I gave this to I gave this whole concept to Gemini, and it gave me these types of things as I was talking back and forth to it. So see if any of this stuff is viable. Bingo. Yeah. What's up, brother? Yeah, it's a little clickbaity. Yeah. Had to. Not going to front page. I'm not even sure if you can really use that anymore. But, you know. Let me copy all this shit. Let's can you push all that to GitHub? Let's see what happens. Oh, nice. It's fast. It knows me. It knows what I want to do. All right, we're gonna ask this. We're gonna ask it what's going on there. We're gonna go over here. Probably should see on Cloudflare if this is actually done. If this is actually done building. Could you imagine building with Microsoft FrontPage nowadays? That would be crazy. I really do want to talk about that Elementor situation as well, because that's pretty important for people that are still over there. Because surprisingly, some of my older content, I have a fair amount of people that still watch my other stuff and have gotten a lot of value from that. I wish this thing would be done here. All right, let's see what it said from that Gemini plan. Optimize remote images using Astro. That's a solid suggestion right now. Your things as raw image tags, image component can resize, convert WebP, meaningful, reduce image weight. Okay, that's worth doing. Okay, already done. Cool. Already done. Already handled in your Astro stack. Okay. I mean, I feel like the thing I don't understand is, okay, also Cloudflare is being a real bitch right now. What is going on? I do have a concern to surface about this way of building, so to speak, or at least how it is right now. It's a small one, but at least where I'm at. Okay, yeah, there's something going on. Unable to authenticate requests. That's bad. API failed. Okay. That's not bueno. I know you can't see it, but I'm just trying to get to the workers part, the pages and workers part in Cloudflare, and we're not able to get in there. That's not bueno. Cloudflare being down and all that sort of stuff a lot recently is kind of a concern. Again, I'm not doing anything like entirely incredibly mission critical right now with it. So that's not like a terrible thing, but it's not great. Yeah, I literally can't see it. It's probably not going to build right now. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I could test it again just to see. Yeah, go ahead and do number 1 there. See if we can make that better. Let's find out. Let's rerun. Analyzation. Did I have to clear? I need to clear my shit. Wait a second. While that does that, let's see if that got worse, better, or maybe it honestly could not. It might not have changed because I don't know if it rebuilt anything. I just did that just to see. Yeah, I don't actually think it rebuilt anything. I think Cloudflare is being a little bit of a bitch. I'm wondering if I clear my cookies or if Cloudflare is just being, let's see, is Cloudflare down at all right now? Increased errors in Atlanta. I'm not in Atlanta. But oh, how are we looking over here? It's doing coding stuff. We are slowing down a little bit here. Chrome is hungry for RAM. Let's see if we can. I really don't want to clear my shit over here. I've just never gotten this error on Cloudflare when I log in. Oh, wait. I can see the thing now. Why is it unable to authenticate request? This is what I'm talking about, though, is like, you know, in the WordPress environment, everybody and their mother wants everything for free. And I've never been like that. Like, I've always tried to go like premium stuff for like the stuff that I was trying to do. I was never trying to like duct tape shit together. When I found a solution that was paid, I would go for it. The trouble is that over here, as I get my feet wet with a lot of this stuff, I have been using free options. Like I've been using free, you know, these Cloudflare pages situations. I don't really feel great about this. Like literally in this situation right now, I don't feel great about the fact that it's giving me shit right now. I do have a little bit of a concern that my domain, my DNS, and now my hosting, so to speak, you know, all this shit is all in one spot. Now, allegedly, it did just start this deployment, so that's great, but that's not fun. What the fuck? How were these images not? I've been telling it to fucking convert everything to WebP and make sure everything's tiny, which is also another great thing. You don't have to actually do shit. You don't have to actually convert anything yourself anymore. You could just tell this thing to do it. It's awesome. It's awesome possum. Here's the thing, okay? Another rant for you in the middle of this. The reality is that when you're not a developer, which I'm actually a rant within a rant right here. I was a developer in college. Like I built shit with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then Java because I was in CS. And, you know, I liked the concepts, but I just never, I don't know. I just don't want to be like constantly coding and looking at syntax all day. But here's the thing, like when you get into this world, you realize that here's what you realize when you get closer to the code, even if you're not doing the syntax, okay? Because people are going to not like that. You realize that there are so many things out there that you can leverage through like a Claude Code environment because it can go out and it can search for things. It can search for like tool libraries and all this other stuff to do these different things. And then it can just bring it into your project and just use it. Like converting files, or I've had it edit photos. I've had it do all sorts of stuff. I've had it edit video. I've had it edit audio, extract audio, like do all these things. And it's not like I'm out there pinging a bunch of APIs. Occasionally you do, like for certain things, obviously you have to, for like transcribing video or something like that. You know, yes, like transcribing audio, but like for certain like little utilities like that, where you would just, you know, go to the internet and you would have it, you know, change whatever to whatever. like, if you care about privacy at all, I mean, you're just uploading your photos to God knows where, and it's doing the same shit that it does here. So I'm just saying, like, these are the things that I've learned, that you can just ask it to resize stuff, ask it to convert stuff, ask it to do these things. And yeah, I mean, I guess you're giving it with all this, potentially you're giving it to Claude, but I feel like it's slightly better than just putting PNG to WebP on the internet and then like whatever the fuck, like dumping shit in there. So I don't know. That's one thing that I've thought is kind of interesting. Is this working? Did it build? Why is Cloudflare being a bitch? Killing me, dog. I did log out and I logged back in. I might try something different here. Actually, let me try this real quick. I don't know if another browser would help me out. Another instance. It's not really another. It's a different profile. Let me just try this on for size real quick. But I mean, I do think that it might have actually built this time. Let's try it again. Okay, invalid bearer token. We don't like that. We don't like that. We really don't. We really don't. I'm actually not kidding. I'm starting to get a little concerned about this Cloudflare situation because I pay them a fair amount of money in domains, but I don't pay them for anything else. And like, cause I have like a lot of domains, but like I'm going to have to start hosting everything like on Vercel or something, somewhere where I can like actually pay and feel a little bit. All right, that's it. Stream's over. See you guys later. Holy shit. Clip it. Clip it. Clip it. What am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? Fuck. What am I going to do now that I just got that for free? I got that for free. I didn't have to pay a lifetime license or whatever. And I don't want to harp on the free thing, okay? You should still be paying for shit. But what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now that my website's so slow? And it's slow. It's slow when I navigate on it. Okay, it's slow when I navigate on it, and it's also slow on page speed score. And it was slow to build too. Fuck. And it's a pain in the ass to edit everything because I can't just like tell it what to do, and it just does it. Oh man, that fucking sucks. Huh. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I really don't. I am actually kind of all jokes aside, because I am being a little bit of a smart ass. But I'm actually being smart ass, but I'm also being sincere. Like I'm trying really hard to believe that this isn't the future, but I'm also like not. I'm having a tough time. What's that line from Pulp Fiction? I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd. Okay, for some reason this one is a little slower, so we're gonna have to optimize the rest of the stuff. But let's ask our bitch, our partner. Okay, it's our partner. Let's ask our partner. What's next? Hey, so I don't. What I need, here's a responsible prompt, okay? You need to tell me exactly what you did over these last couple prompts so I understand. And moreover, here's the deal. You need to tell me what to do, but we also need to package this into some sort of, I'm going to say the word skill, because I don't want to have to do this every time. I don't want to go down this fucking rabbit hole every time and know that these are the things we have to do. Not every project is going to be exactly like this, so you can't make it specific to this project, but I do want to know next time that I build a website and I have trouble with the mobile optimization score and I have trouble with that stuff in general, what are some of the things that we should try that I should load into a skill and then load into that project so that we have our process dialed as we move forward? Because we want to make sure that the future projects are just as good as the ones we make, each time, like they continue to get better. So that's what I want you to do next. I also kind of wanted, I kind of wanted to do something else though. Before you do any of that though, okay? Well, actually, you can do that, make that skill or whatever. But the other thing I want us to look at too is like if we did that for the homepage and that was like a very specific thing. We need this skill to be global across the website. We want all of our pages to have good scores and to have good user experience, perceived user experience and speed. So what I need is like if I test right now, if I test the resource page, it still gets a 90, even though the homepage is getting a 99 on mobile. So let's take that into consideration as well. Do the work. What do we got here, guys? I missed a lot of comments because I was kind of being a smartass, but also kind of, made it 99. Oh, you scared me. I was like, what's happening? Did I miss an update or something? Nah, yeah, you're good. You're good. Keep doing your thing. Whatever you want to do. I'm just here. I'm just doing my thing. I'm switching Notepad because if I let a tool help me, I'm no longer in the driver's seat and I'm a bitch. You are a bitch. There's got to be a good. I feel like I'm thinking of a movie quote from that, but I can't place it right now. Honestly, I thought I missed a massive damage. If that came back, you would hear about it. You would hear everything about it. If you let AI take the driver's seat, you end up spending hours debugging, fixing random issues you create. Dobver, I appreciate you being here, and I'm not trying to be a smartass, but I completely have a different perspective and lived experience on that. I see there's probably some more comments, so I'm happy to go with that, but that is just absolutely not true from my case. Could absolutely be true from your case, so I'm not trying to like have a lived experience debate here. It's just that's absolutely not what I'm doing, like at all. It hasn't happened to me at all. So I'm so sorry if that's happened to you though. But we can stay in control and use AI as a helper. You avoid a lot of the work, a lot of that work, and work much more efficiently. I do want to talk about one thing very specifically though, because I'm going to go full screen here for a second here, even though I'm recording the other side, but this is a very important point. Okay. And it speaks directly to that. Even though I have not had that experience, and I think a lot of people that say that are underutilized on it because they're already biased towards it. It's a hypothesis. We could talk more about it. But here's the thing. I have made a mistake, and my personality, when I'm wrong, I will let you know because I want to learn. That's my goal. I want to learn and I want to share those things. I have made a mistake. I've made a miscalculation or an error of omission, and I want to make sure that I clear that up right here with this whole stuff that I've done so far, because I've only recently realized this. When you deal with these tools, when I tell people to go into Claude Code and I tell people to do these things, I need to consistently, and we actually all need to do this, but I'll take the blame for it. I need to do a better job at understanding that what is in my mind is not in everyone else's mind. What I mean is the lived experience that I've had, the knowledge that I've amassed, and the projects that I've done, the technologies that I've played with, all of it is unique to me. And if I don't take that into account when I'm educating, when I'm talking about things, when I'm doing these different things, that is a problem. And the reason it's a problem is because we take that for granted. We take our lived experience and the knowledge that we have in our minds, and only in our minds, for granted all the time. Everyone does this. Everyone thinks that like what they know, other people already know. And again, I'm literally taking the most blame for it right now because I'm saying it into a camera, into a live stream. What I'm talking about more specifically, to give some actual concrete examples, is that when I talk about Claude Code, I don't think I've hyped this very much at all. There's people out there that are really hyping this. I think I've borderline slightly sensationalized it in certain ways. And I think that I've made it sound easier than it is. I don't think I've hyped it, but I think I've made it sound easier than it is. But here's why that happened naturally, and I wanna course correct a little. It's because I know how to build websites, and I know how code works. I've been in this my entire adult life. I went to college for computer engineering, CSS, and ultimately graduated in information science. Like, I was around it since then. I've always been in computers, in et cetera, whatever. The reason, and again, to the point that we had these conversations that we have all the time, the reason that I understand and I do emphasize heavily with like Dauber or anybody that are saying this is because if you have been like sort of me and even deeper into code, syntax, et cetera, whatever, and now you see complete jamokes coming into this space and just vibe coding the shit out of stuff. I think about it in a couple ways, but I understand how you think about it. You think about it and you think about it, you're like, and I'm assuming here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but like it's what the fuck are these guys doing? They're cowboy coding. They're making it seem like my profession is shit. Like I shouldn't be doing any of this, or like all my work and my effort and my time and everything like that is for nothing, and the syntax and it doesn't mean anything. I get that. I understand that. There's a couple of different avenues I want to go, but let me go back for a second. The reason that I'm not that person, and I don't think if you think I'm that person, I'm genuinely not that person, is like I understand how those things work and I'm putting them together. When I'm educating, I need to do a better job at explaining that you can't, I don't think it's responsible to be that person. If you understand how the things work and you continuously understand them over time, you're not going to have this situation where you have a shit ton of bugs and a bunch of problems. If you don't understand, I've taken for granted the fact that I know how what VS Code is, how it works, how you go code base on your computer in VS Code using Claude Code, push up to GitHub to hosting. Like a lot of people that are doing this, they don't even understand that because all this stuff is getting abstracted away into different apps like Replit or Lovable or whatever the fuck. Okay. And I don't think that's necessarily entirely a bad thing. And I don't think you can say that's entirely a bad thing either, because I don't know about this. Okay. Newsflash. Okay. And I'm not trying to ruffle feathers here, but newsflash, if you use bricks or even etch or anything like that, it's a fucking layer of abstraction. You're not at the code. You might understand the code and you might want to do that and you might love the UI experience, but you have to understand that that's still a layer of abstraction. Now, the lovables, the replets, all that sort of shit, obviously that's like consumer grade level of abstraction. But watch my abstraction video. Watch my layer of abstraction video that I have on the channel. The one where I think it's the one that says like, watch this before you build another website. We just have a lot of stuff going on right now where, and I try not to do this, we have a lot of stuff going on right now where people think that they know where the world is going to go when we're in the most tumultuous, craziest time that I've ever lived through. And I'm young, getting old now, I'm 30. But let's take a step back because we're all extremely intelligent and smart here. I know that, without a doubt. Let's take a step back and let's think about this. Let's be thoughtful. And let's think, where do we actually potentially think this is going? What do we think is the best course of action for us, for our clients, etc. And let's just go with the flow a little bit and see where it goes. Like you can go really hard against like the flow and stuff and try to do that. I just don't think that's the optimal way of handling this. Getting a little off track now, so I want to kind of back to it. But again, the point is, I need to do a better job at that. I recognize that. I'm man enough to say that. Hopefully other people are as well. And I understand you. I fully understand and empathize with the idea that you don't want to give it the driver's seat, even though some people do let the cars drive themselves right now. I don't actually have a self-driving car, okay, because I drive Hondas right now. But I do like clicking the button where it stays in the lane a little bit. It's okay. But people drive Teslas, okay? I just think we need to be susceptible to change. We need to be susceptible to and open to it. Maybe I'm more open to it than other people. But again, I see these as leverage. I see these as tools. I see these as a way to make more money. I see these as things to have more influence. I actually see these things to have more time back in my day as well. I don't want to go super philosophical right now because there's a lot more comments I would like to hit and I would like to get back to some of this stuff. But we have to think about what the world could end up being, or where we're headed with some of these things, or what our lives could even end up being. Like, if you like doing something, then do it. But if you don't like something, then see how you can not do it and still have it be done. I don't That seems like very basic, like kind of human nature in a way, especially as we've continued down this technological pathway here. So those are the things that I'm thinking about. I feel like I had one more thought there, but it'll come back to me. I'm sure I'll have another thing here as I read these comments. We love premium features for free. Yep, no, I understand that. I get it. Yep, it's interesting. Loving these AI videos, Mark. By the way, where we go? Any reason you're not using Brave browser? Seem faster with better private and great build and ad blocker. I should try it. I've just been on Google Chrome literally since it came out. I'm also pretty deep in the Google ecosystem. So I have the buds, I have the headphones, I have the buds, I have the phone, I have the Google things all over my house. And I guess can you still log in? Is it, well, I don't know if it's Chromium, maybe, I don't know, but I should give it a shot. I just have been too lazy. The way I handle it right now is actually, I have 3 browsers. I have 3 Chrome profiles, like 3 icons on my taskbar. One is my personal Gmail. It's logged into that. One is and I love this concept. I'm sure it exists elsewhere. Maybe it exists in Brave, but like the personal, and then the professional, which is like Mark Szymanski, and then Motive 11. So I have like 3 sets of history, 3 sets of bookmarks, 3 sets of whatever. It actually works really well, just because I'm a psycho and decided that I was going to separate everything. I don't think that's a bad idea, but that's kind of how I've dealt with it. So maybe I'll give Brave a shot. I'm not really interested in too many of the AI, or the next gen ones. Like, I never got into the other things. Also, I'm on Windows, so we get everything fucking last. So whatever. Platform compress Astro plugin optimizes your images, etc. Ability, but if you're using a CDN anyways, let's let it do that. Usually a feature of these services anyway. Gotcha. 99 is not 100%. Fucking do better, man. Seriously. Honestly, I'm considering just stopping being a web developer and just becoming a plumber. So yeah, I might have to do that. I mean, it's usually as good as it gets. Why or how are the sites too slow? I think okay, that was Venture. Yeah, this was how long ago was this? This was like 15 minutes ago. Yeah, I'm being slightly funny in this live stream. This guy's act is so convincing. Thank you. I'm a good actor. When I visit your site, it takes too much time for the light photons to come in the front. This is hilarious. I thought this was way forward. It is, dog. Microsoft FrontPage. You're waffling. If you're using Cloudflare CDN, you're good. Yeah. Mark, you lied to me. You said this is the future, but now that I'm building my portfolio, it just takes a... Yeah, I gotta rip through. Waffle. You don't know how CDN works. Yeah, waffle. Yeah. I'm finna unsubscribe. I should start saying finna more. That's all. Unsubscribe. All right, sorry here. We'll get back to this here. It's not slow. Let's see here. It's not slow. It's about how the website is hosted. If he was using Cloudflare CDN, he'd understand. I don't know if we're joking. I know this was like 10 minutes ago. I don't know if we're joking. I am using Cloudflare CDN. Even look at the way he's talking about Claude. He's not got the brains. AI is going to replace all these roles because humans are slow. That is true. It has happened. You think Astro is slow because you don't know how to structure a website or use CNN. Honestly, yeah. Waffle. Unsub. Thank you. We're calling BRB. Hopefully it's a client that you need to convert to FrontPage. All right. I think this is some of the stuff that I was talking about here. So let's look at some of these. I kind of get what you're saying, but I think people would expect that if you want to work with AI, you have to understand how shit works. You cannot just ask it to do everything by itself. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know, remember where I was in this thing, but I think I kind of said that. Like, you have to understand, well, when you take on projects, I don't know if anybody's ever taken on a project. Maybe you guys are all like just crazy good at what you do and you're just cracked at this. I've taken on projects before where I don't understand exactly how everything's going to work. And it's worked out because I'm a person that will figure out how to do shit, and I have a brain, even though I know I use AI a lot, and Waffle Man doesn't think that I have one, which is fine. But like I have a brain, and I like solving problems, and I will solve these problems. I had two advisory calls yesterday, where I had to like figure out the problems as we're building stuff, and I had to figure out and architect a solution so then we could go ahead and fix the situations that they have and map out the new features and the new web architecture for the things that they're trying to do. So this is this is the whole point, though. I think you're making it for me, is that I need to do a better job at making sure that I articulate the fact as often as possible that I have experience here. And I'm trying to tell you that now I can use AI to extend my capabilities for sure, but also do like, I am steering this bitch. When I talk into this thing, I am giving it so much like information from my head of like, this is what I want to do. This is borderline in some ways how I want to do it. Sometimes I'm going to ask, obviously, here's a problem. Can you research ways to do it? And if you have a problem with that, have you ever fucking looked at like but pre-AI, did you ever say, I don't know how to do this syntax. I don't know how to make a header in Elementor. So I'm gonna go search how to make a header in Elementor. Bro, that's the same thing. That's the same thing. Now, obviously, I guess if you're listening to a person on YouTube, maybe you weigh that a little higher than an LLM. Honest to God, though, like even back then, like I don't know why. I'm not trying to be anti-human by any means, but I don't know why we weigh it's like I see this so much. It's like every single human's opinion is better, is weighted higher now than like AI. For some people have that take. I don't agree with that. I haven't fully thought this out. It's a working thought, like most things that I talk about, but is that what we're saying? Is we're saying that like every single human, are we saying they're all like equally intelligent, equally read, and anything that comes out of their mouth is as good as what AI could produce if it was asked the same question? The way that I think about AI is that, yeah, it's a predictive text model, so it's probabilistic, and you should not treat it as deterministic. Specific, like you could ask it things and it will hallucinate. That's a real thing. However, I'm thinking probabilistically. If you asked a bunch of humans a question, or if you asked AI a question, the reality is like the AI most of the time, like you gotta understand where the knowledge cutoff is. Okay, this isn't like if the knowledge cutoff is May of 2025 and you're asking about something in like December of 2025, it's obviously not going to know about it inherently in its model. But you could ask it to go search for shit in the internet, just like you would have done, and then it could synthesize that information and get that to you. So that's a cheat code. But my point is, and I don't want to go too much longer on this, is that I see an LLM as like, okay, humans created the internet, and then humans dumped a fuck ton of context onto the internet. Then more humans created the concept of an LLM, and they said, little machine, I'm oversimplifying, little machine, little LLM model, go out to the internet and grab all that shit and like just learn it, right? And I'm not going to get into it because I don't understand it entirely fully, but it's a bunch of computation, a bunch of et cetera, training on all this data. And that's the data it's trained on. Now, not every single bit of the data, obviously each model is tuned differently, but ultimately it's like trained on some sort of data, but that data ultimately is human produced data. We produced it. Now it knows it. Doesn't know it perfectly, I guess, all the time. But my whole thing is like, if you thought about it like that, it's like you are still one degree of separation away from the content that you would have looked at manually. And it's like, why wouldn't I trust this? At least to a degree. I'm not saying I don't think you should vibe code, whatever the fuck, like some crazy shit necessarily. I just think it's going to continue to get better, and it's already really good. But that's how I think about it. So another long rant, but yeah. All right, to my point, I got to rip through these comments and then I'll just comment at the end. Okay, how am I going to see? It's hard to read this thing on the side. I got to read it on the screen. To my point, a lot of people using building websites with AI don't even realize things like page speed exist. That's exactly why AI shouldn't be in the driver's seat. Again, I think you're just I actually don't agree with what you just said there. I just think you're making it a little too simplistic because, again, as I've said 4 times now, that is important. But AI can be closer to the driver's seat if you know how to drive, in a way. Maybe that's not the best way to say that, but you're making I just feel here, this is the last thing I'm gonna say here. You're making the argument more about AI and the tool rather than the people using the tool, right? This is a common thing. It's seen in many other areas of life. Don't blame the tool for people. And this is the funny part. I have to make this point because this just came to me. We're putting humans on a fucking pedestal. We're putting like the average human on a pedestal while demeaning this tool, when in reality, it's the fucking humans that are the problem to the tool thing. And again, I'm not anti-human. I'm just saying in general, humans using a tool poorly or irresponsibly are the problem, not the fucking tool inherently. Maybe, could be, I don't know the future, could be a world where this ends up getting bad and the AI becomes whatever the fuck else and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to stop that. I don't If you think you can stop that, please by all means, like, go do whatever you think you need to do to stop that. That's not on my radar. I don't care about that. I'm not trying to lose sleep over that. That's not what I'm thinking. But that is a really important point there that I've never heard anybody articulate. Is like, the argument becomes, wait, why are we letting AI do stuff? We should let humans do stuff. But we're putting the average human on a pedestal, saying it's like better than AI. But then the AI is just a tool. Like, I know it's buzzworthy. It's everywhere. I say it a lot. I don't really like saying AI anymore because it's too it's too vague and it's too buzzwordy. But it's just where we're at right now. But that's the thing in my mind, is that it's a tool. The problem is the person. Like, if you had a hammer, hammer equals AI, right? Hammer. If I hit a nail, if I'm building a house and I'm using it to hit a nail in, great use of a hammer. If I use a hammer to bludgeon someone, bad use of the hammer. Are we going to blame the hammer, or are we going to blame the person swinging the hammer? Just thought. Stew on that one. Maybe we have some other thoughts there. We still need to understand the fundamentals like performance optimization, best practices, and use AI to help improve. Couldn't agree more. So I would say, okay, I can't read today. So I would say it's on them to know, at least to try to get the basic understanding before vibe coding. Either way, you have to do basic research. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Oh boy, Venture. He already doesn't even know how to use a CDN. He cries in the page speech. So I'm tired of these so-called professionals say they couldn't get an enterprise grade role in this. I don't know what the enterprise grade role is, but I appreciate your engagement. It's the same with any technology. You don't know what they're doing. If you don't know what they're doing, you won't even know what's wrong. Yeah. Yep. You could just ask. I'm not directing any of you specifically, just speaking. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I think these are important, somewhat important conversations to have. Just like Builder helps you build websites faster. Okay. AI is greater than Etch. Breakdance is greater than AI. Matt Report Podcast. Hi. How you doing, sir? Good to see you here. Big AI guy over there. Go follow Matt Report Podcast. I built my first all AI website for a client. Damn, dude. What's your page speed scores like? How much do I charge for what? That's a pretty vague question. For like a website? I mean, I was charging like $10,000 for WordPress websites. That's actually an interesting point though. Hang on, let me bring that up. So I had a couple advisory calls yesterday, and then I was like thinking about this, doing some supplemental research, things like that. This is an actual interesting question. So if you let's use a baseline of 10,000 USD for a WordPress website that is, I don't know. I don't know if you guys know this, by the way. You could charge whatever somebody's willing to pay for. So don't get that twisted. There's obviously some bounds to that based off the thing, but depending on who you're talking to, depending on what you're building, obviously that's pretty subjective. But I was thinking about this in general, and I was thinking, you know what? If I'm building websites predominantly with the help of AI, it makes the process faster, makes the process better in a lot of ways. Does it make it cheaper? And I was thinking this just came from one of the advisory calls, and it was like a bigger system. It wasn't just a website. It was like kind of like almost like a custom. I got to make a video on this custom like inventory situation that I did for my dad, but it was along those lines. It would be like a more of like a flow. It'd be like integrating into some APIs and things like that. I mean, ultimately, most of the shit is web apps. Like, I mean, we're building websites, web apps, etc. So it was just a little more extensive. It wasn't like a brochure front end site. It was like more of a custom piece of software, truthfully. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, if I build this in, pre-AI or without AI, or if you talk to a developer and they claim they're not going to use that, or AI isn't an option, how much is it going to cost? And it's like the way that I kind of like thought about it, and I obviously consulted with Claude about it, is like if it's $20,000 for you to do this manually in 8 weeks, but you can do it with AI in 4 weeks, should you still charge $20,000? I think you could, but honestly, like, it really depends. It's like this is another potential fault of mine, is that I've transitioned into this realm because I'm learning the new skills, and I want to position myself as somebody that is learning and trying and sharing these things. And those that want to learn do, and those that want to not do your thing. But I'm positioning myself in that way, and I'm thinking there is too much of an emphasis, a little bit too much of an emphasis, which I could course correct for, on just like, again, that broader thought of AI. So when you're talking to a client, AI is weird though. Like, they care about AI to a degree, but they don't care about AI from a business perspective necessarily, not inherently, right? They give a fuck about making money. They care about more leads. They care about et cetera. They don't necessarily care about AI in general. And they really they probably care about what AI could do for them in their business, but they probably don't give a fuck that you built something with AI. So that's something to consider. Now, obviously, for better or for worse, your peers will care if you build something with AI. So that's kind of working. That's kind of like, I got multiple angles on my situation here because I'm talking to peers and I'm also talking to clients. But the point of me making all that that is that when you talk about from a how does this affect the economics of what we do, it shouldn't. You don't want to make it a race to the bottom. But if you can do more work in less amount of time, then you do now have more margin. Like, you do have more amount of money to play with in that engagement. So it might be a situation where you would have had to charge $20,000, but now you're charging 10, 15 or something like that. Depending on obviously what it is. I'm using made up numbers here, but that's kind of the thought process. So, yeah, I don't have an answer for it just yet, but, yeah, I mean, I'll share more stuff as I continue to go. Mark, quick question. How do you handle analytics with Astro websites? Let's say it's end of the month and I want to see people's page speeds, et cetera, whatever. Yeah, so you could use Google Analytics because it's just a script. But I decided when I did all this that I wasn't going to do that anymore. Channel sponsor, if you're still in WordPress land, I would look at independent analytics because it's like all wrapped in there and you have like a lot of control. But in Astro land, which I should probably stop saying that because isn't that a Travis Scott thing that everyone like died at or something? Astro World. Okay, don't say that. Anyway, in Astro land, we're going to say that. In Astro, I'm just using Plausible. So people like Fathom, people like Plausible. I've heard of Persh. I just went with a different thing. If you really were crazy, you could probably build one yourself with vibe coding, but people will get mad at you for that because they don't like it when you've never done things that you've never done. And especially when you do things that you've never done with AI, people really hate that, but you got to get thick skin there. But that's just also not something that, like, on the list of priorities that I would build, that's not very high at all. I'm just paying Plausible, whatever it is, like $15, $20 a month. I do have some other ideas for some stuff that I could replace though, for sure. Side tangent. One of them is my very lightweight situation that I need for a CRM. But I'm not 100% sure about that. I'll probably just continue to play closed CRM for now. Because most people don't need HubSpot or Salesforce level stuff. So it's just kind of like a weird middle ground there. But yeah, that's how I handle the analytics. So It's plausible. It's pretty nice. Pretty easy. Single script situation, and just got to make sure that it's loaded into all of your layouts on Astro if you're going to do it, because layouts are kind of like templates. So you can have like a base layout, you could have a landing page layout, you could have a minimal layout, whatever, and you got to make sure that it's loading in each one of those when you're doing that, or else you'll have pages that aren't whatever. If you use Cloudflare Pages, BOC, what's up, big dog? If you use Cloudflare Pages in Astro, you can use Zaraz, that's a fun word, to add Google Analytics tags, easy for tracking in the CF dashboard. Interesting. If you're still in the Google Analytics game, that seems like a good way to go. Appreciate that, big dog. Most hosting company provide analytics for HTML sites. That's another good point, yeah. I feel like within Cloudflare, you can probably see some data there as well. You could probably do some shit in there. Again, I'm skeptical at this point because like I've gone from all premium shit to now like I'm basically freeloading a lot of my stuff, so I want to be careful because I feel like at least if I'm paying, then I have the right to be mad when things go wrong. But I'd consider that. I mean, again, with plausible and stuff, like you can have like goals and certain things, and you can fire off events, and you can do that way easier too, because you don't need to worry about like, let's say that you wanted to create an event when something happened, but a lot of people wouldn't be able to create an event or like have certain things trigger an event unless they were using something like, maybe if you are in WordPress, Conversion Bridge did this a fantastic job. Derek Ashauer, beautiful plugin there where you connect like your analytics platforms to your actual like website. So you can have like, he has like a bunch of integrations with builders and stuff like that, where you can like say when a button is pressed, then it automatically sends an event to whatever your analytics platform is, rather than having to configure that all manually. Again, though, I would say in vibe coding land, you have so much more. You have all the control. So it all depends on what you want to do and what you're more comfortable with. But for me, I like less abstraction. I like less dependencies on other pieces of code and plugins and shit like that like are in between what's actually happening and then what I'm building with. And that's what I've been doing here recently. What up, John? Okay. My main concern using AI to build websites and apps is security and how well it can handle user registration and management, but mainly security overall. I mean, it's a fair question. I haven't built anything yet that is unbelievably at risk, I wouldn't say. I'll tell you real quick what I've built. I built websites. I don't think static websites have basically any real attack vectors other than form spam and whatever, but I have Cloudflare Turnstile even for that. So injection and shit, I don't think that's really an issue. There's nothing there. It's HTML. It doesn't do anything. I'm not belittling the security angle at all. I think it's a real thing. I think there's probably a lot of people cowboy coding out there and getting fucked. Here's the thing though. From the developer angle or the cowboy coder angle, even if you weren't cowboy coding or vibe coding and doing all this stuff, maybe if you were a developer back in the day, you still probably had issues where like you made mistakes and you had to pay for them, and then you learn from those mistakes. Now, obviously, we want to be really careful when we get other people's data involved, for sure. But I just think that there's like a little too much like double kind of like, kind of like a like contradicting statements around that, where like we made mistakes when we weren't coding, when we were coding ourselves. But the fact that we're not going to make any mistakes now is kind of crazy, because I still get like errors and things that like aren't perfect. But I mean, I'm so happy with trading those still things that I need to change and those mistakes for the speed at which the things can get done. Maybe not everyone's like that, but that's whatever. So that's that. Now, again, real quick, last thing on the security is I haven't built anything with like real users yet. The one thing that I've tried is I've built a like I said, the inventory system for my dad. It's really just like kind of like an HTML little like kind of web app thing. And the authentication for that is through what is it called? Is it called Zero Trust or is it called Cloudflare One or something like that? Maybe I don't know if it's Zero Trust. It's whatever the hell the thing is where if you have something on Cloudflare pages, you can easily set up like a little authentication login situation because obviously I didn't want people to log in there and mess with the data that we had because it's all stored in like a JSON in a private GitHub directory. And I don't want, would anybody find the URL? Maybe, maybe not. I'm sure I've doxed it before, but like there's a thing there where only our email addresses can get in there. It sends a code, et cetera. And it's all built in. I'm trusting Cloudflare to manage the actual security angle of that, right? Because I set it up and I put my email address, my dad's email address, and then it sends an email and you get the code. And that's what I would say is like even developers, like hardcore developers, and I'm sure you guys are hardcore developers in here. Even hardcore developers that I've seen talk about this type of stuff that have been coding way longer and like all fully manual and maybe now just starting AI and all that sort of stuff. They always say, don't build your own auth. They always say that shit. So on the auth side specifically, anything you're using there, what did I hear? There's a couple, I just haven't dealt with them enough, but I know there's a couple of them that are like the way to go. Doesn't matter. Just don't like, nobody's, even if you told Claude right now to build you something, and if you were smart about it, you would ask like, hey, what are the best tools or some of the best tools? What would you recommend for these things? You guys might hate the fact that I would be asking Claude for recommendations, but that's just how the world is. But the idea is that if you're asking it for recommendations, it's probably not going to say build your own auth. Like I've asked to do some crazy shit and it doesn't say all the time. It's like, oh, let's build this shit from scratch. Like here's another thing. Even on the framework angle, it could build all of this shit with vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And maybe that ends up being the play someday because you even have less dependencies. But it's not saying to do that because that's not how humans have behaved. So somebody took fucking years of their life to create a great auth system. Use that thing. Like, don't rebuild that. Like that, and again, that's just auth, obviously. But on the security stuff and everything like that, a lot of what's happening, okay, is like, I don't know if and this isn't at you, John, or anybody specifically, but what I'm seeing at a 50,000 foot view, because one of my best skills is like analyzing and observing the situation and then synthesizing it in my brain at a high level to see what's going on. What's happening is people are just using these tools, these vibe code tools, to string other tools together really well as well. They're obviously creating code, but before, imagine where this all came from was people that were using Zapier, Make.com, and N8N, mainly the last two, and they were combining this like HTTP request, this API, and then this other tool over here and this other tool over here. That's where this all really came from, right? That's where it started. That is not really like, that's not building software, obviously, right? Those node flows. But the concept, when you take that and now you put it into the code land, it's like you are definitely still coding stuff. Well, you're not coding it, but like the thing is definitely still making code, writing custom code for sure. However, so much of this, and this is kind of how software's to a degree always been, but it's even more so like this because most of these people that are building these things, they have an idea. A lot of them aren't even that fucking innovative anymore. Like there's obviously like a lot of like similar shit going on, but they have an idea and then they're just like connecting multiple things. This is why I was saying earlier, when you start vibe coding and you're just building websites, et cetera, whatever, there are ways to do things that you would have had to either pay for before or do manually on the internet or whatever, but you don't have to necessarily do that because you can ask the thing to do the information, to do those tasks for you, like something as simple as converting images or cropping images or whatever those things are. So a lot of stuff there, but I think that that's another thing that's, when we talk about it, that's really what's going on. And to wrap it up with the security talk again, yes, there are security best practices. I don't know all of them. I haven't had to deploy any of them yet. As I go through them, as I have blunders, as I whatever, I'll let you know. But the thing is, I do think that a lot of the security things, the security measures are like best practices in a way, but then they're also like utilizing tools that if the tool gets fucked, you're fucked, but it's not your fault. Like it's the tool's fault. Like it's the Supabase's fault. It's the Cloudflare, I can't remember the fucking name of the thing, one or whatever it is. Like it's those people's fault. Now, is it kind of ultimately on you? For sure. But it's like, you can't get mad at me for vibe coding something that utilized these tools and then I implemented it with best practices and then it's, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that's the only way people get, you know, bad security issues and whatever. I'm just saying that I'm not going to operate in that realm from like I'm worried about this thing. I'm going to go into it. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to build slowly and I'm going to see what happens. So I'm absolutely going to end up doing some stuff with, user data and all that sort of shit. So maybe very soon here actually. So we'll see. Do you have any specific suggestions you suggest enabling when using the free Cloudflare plan? Specific settings. If the thing opens up over on this other screen, I'll take a look here. Let me see. Because I know last time it was, earlier was being a little bit of a bear. I don't think there's any specific settings per se. I mean, I pretty much just have like, well, the one specific thing I would tell you to do is when you go through and I know you can't see this, but when you go through and you create an application, at least for the time being, it might change, but you should probably make a pages instead of a worker because maybe I can show you here. Yeah. Let me switch here. The only thing I would say is like, if you're talking about this side of things, I would 100% tell you to, when you click create an application in your workers and pages area of Cloudflare, click down here and do pages instead of like continue. This UI is awful. Like they say create a worker, but workers are a little different than pages. They're kind of all together-ish now, but at least for the time being, like I've had more success using pages still for simple like web apps and like website type situation because you could still layer in the worker functionality and like I don't know if it's serverless functions. Again, I'm still learning like that type of thing. Um it's just I don't know why they're doing this, but there's got to be a reason and maybe it gets phased out eventually, but it's definitely going to be I'm sure shit's not going to go away. They're probably just like trying to get it. It's just like a weird transitionary period. I don't know what else to say about that. That's just kind of how it seems like things happen sometimes with tech. And other than that, the thing is called Zero Trust, by the way. If you want to look into that simple front thing. Let me see here. While I'm in here, might be able to show you some really funny stuff, but is there any other things that I've done? Any other what's it called? These are really embarrassing. You're gonna love these. Hang on a second. Is there any other specific settings? Not really on the free plan. I mean, I don't really change too much stuff because I don't really have to. I have probably 50 domains in here and I pay for all those. And then I have them all in the free plan. Sometimes you'll have like trouble if you use the DNS, obviously there, that's kind of like part of the free plan thing. Obviously if you're proxying, you're using the CDN, etc. If you are, I've used GridPane here for a while and the integration there is great. So I really don't have to like mess with it too much, but I'll set up different websites. It'll push obviously to there. It'll proxy everything. Typically, whatever you do have to like essentially sometimes make sure that your DNS is not messed up in a way of like if you're proxying something you shouldn't be proxying, so to speak. That's a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes. Real quick, I'll show you these funny websites here. Look at this. This is actually my new website. What do you guys think? It's pretty sick. This is supposed to be a marquee. I don't know what happened. Yeah, this is the first. Is this the first website I ever made? Maybe. But yeah, this is from way back when I was at the University of Pittsburgh. I don't know what's in here. So yeah, that's fucking terrible. I don't know what happened there. So ridiculous. So ridiculous, the shit that they made you do back then. I mean, what is this? I don't know what this is. This is ass. I can't remember if this was tables or I think it was, I don't think this is wasn't this called like not panes? Maybe it was tables, but I don't know. Just like super wacky. I don't know why they made us do this either because like this was done in what year was this? Where am I at? Currently a freshman. This is 2014. Why the fuck did they make us do this like this? There's no way this is the only way to do this back then. But I don't know. This is what I'm talking about though. Okay, hey, just so we're all clear, all right? Just so we're all clear. I coded this, all right? I don't want to hear shit, all right? HTML, CSS, right here, buddy, all right? Way back when. And I've coded shit since. But this is what I did, right? Also worse. This is fucking way worse. I don't know what I was thinking here. Oh, look at these action shots. Oh, Jesus. Look at these action shots. I have a whole website devoted to my oh, even a link to the stats. Oh, geez. Oh man, this is sick. Anyway, this is just a trip down memory lane. It's great. But the whole point of this is what I was saying is just like, these are some of the crazy shit that I did a long time ago. And I don't really know if I have another point. Just wanted to stroll down memory lane. So there's that. Okay. And those are hosted in Cloudflare, obviously, just as pages. So let's see what we got here. Create an HTML to Etch converter Python script. There you go. Okay. Did you vibe code that? If you did, people might be mad. Did you or did AI make it? 4060. There you go. Yeah. I have actually, it's trouble. I have a hard time saying that now. It's like, did I build it or did AI build it? I'm going to probably transition to I built it, which is going to piss a lot of people off, but it is what it is. Just because like, I don't like the word vibe code. I feel like it's been co-opted heavily, and you guys might think I'm vibe coding, and I've said I've been vibe coding, but I don't really think that's what's happening. I think it's more like AI assisted, but it's a euphemism, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's not going to matter in literally like 2 years, let alone like 5 or 10. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still working on that. I'm building a Mac OS app for a client. Ruben, my man. Are you a coder? Okay. Are you a coder, dude? Are you making that? Are you building that, dude? A small church that has never used pipelines engagements. They have tried everything, but it's overwhelming. They're currently on Zoho. Buddy, do it. Cloudflare R2 is kind of cool on free tier. Have not used R2 yet. Also, what was the other? I was talking to a colleague here in Pittsburgh yesterday, and he's not really a trained dev by any means, but he's a hustler. He's a scrapper, which you got to say something for that. And he is creating a kind of like an app for. They already have it created, but he was just telling me about the tech stack. It's like an app for like clothing companies and stuff like that, where they can order clothing. Actually, they can see, like they can create images, like product images and all this other stuff. He was telling me he was using AWS, what is it called? E2 buckets? Maybe not buckets. I know nothing about AWS. I haven't gotten there yet, but for some of the things that I might work on pretty soon, I may need to expand my deployment horizon of things that I can do. Are these frames? They might have been frames. Those might have been frames. Yeah, those might have been frames. Yeah, way back when. Only problem with CF is they have a billion products and I remember their names. Yeah, that is a problem. I subscribed again because I realized you're just a human that isn't working in enterprise. Oh, okay. Thank you, Venture Capital. Appreciate you. Yeah, I don't work for enterprise. I don't deal with them heavily at all, really. Maybe we'll get there. And then when I use AI to build at enterprise level, then you can unsubscribe again and we can go back and forth and it'll be fun. It'll be a fun little thing that we'll just remember. So yeah, it'll be cool. All right, why don't we go back to this here real quick? I appreciate all you guys. Love every single one of you. Here we go. All right, so what do we do in plain English? How do we go back to this? All right, so again, I know that was a long detour there, but this is actually really important, okay? So what did we do? We did some shit. We figured some stuff out. We prompted, we architected, we thought about the debugging process, so to speak, of all this. And then we told the thing what we wanted to do, and it went through some options, and we gave it the okay, and it tested some shit out, right? Kind of like us testing stuff out, but we don't have to actually do the work, and we could just, kind of see what's going on and then steer the ship from there. So what did it do? And then I had another thing. If you remember that long prompt from earlier, this is the problem: is you can't just ask it this. If you're going to do this again in your life, you shouldn't just ask it this. You should make sure that it knows moving forward. Now, there's a bunch of different methods to do this, but the simplest one at this very moment, March 19, 2026, is at least get this shit out of there. Like, get the information out of there. Get the kind of not necessarily exactly what it did, but like what to try, and like basically the process, right? If you were building a WordPress website or any sort of website, you have a process in your mind. You should probably, I'm guilty of this, but we all should have been getting this shit out of our mind for a very long time. If we did have really good processes, and the businesses that did have really good documented processes, fuck, they are out of their minds right now with AI, because they can just dump it all in there. But side note, let's just look at this real quick. So your homepage scored 75 on mobile page speed. Two biggest issues were LCP and speed index. Content visibility was set to auto. Okay, so this tells the browser don't bother laying out or painting this section until the user scrolls near it. We applied it to every section in the hero, about da-da-da-da. Okay. Browser skips rendering 40 testimonials on the initial load. Gives the browser a size hint. Real quick, by the way, too, I want to, what's my keyboard? Real quick, if we go here, so this is interesting too now, like how I don't know what this said before because I don't still have the thing, but this is what I was kind of talking about there. Like, obviously, if it's faster, it's going to see the shit faster, I guess. But I do think that's part of the, it makes sense that it's faster, so you see information there faster and you don't see white screens. Like, that makes sense. But I'm saying that whatever we were doing there is now allowing the robot to grab information quicker. Therefore, this is, don't make no fucking mistake here, okay? I say hypothesize for everything because, like, I don't know for a fucking fact, but make no mistake here that, like, this is, in some ways, I'm not saying it's illegitimate or gaming the system. I'm saying that we did shit to make that happen. Now, it could be just perfectly easily technical shit, but, like, we already had a good user experience, and now we, like, made it. I don't even know if we really affected the user experience by doing this. There's no need to do this. Like, you didn't need to do that at all. I'm sure it's still just as fast to a human, but the fucking robot wanted us to dick around and do some stuff, so we did it. That's what a performance optimization plugin does. Like, again, when I said earlier, like, this is for mainly two reasons: dick measuring contest with your buddies, okay? The only other people, the only other, like, whatever it is, sub, how many fucking devs could there possibly be? Sub 50 million, like, people that know about this link, okay? And then for and the actual reason that I would tell you to be concerned about is, if you're doing it for a client site, make sure that you at least have a respectable score here, so you don't get poached by another company. That's I mean, those are literally the only two reasons. So, I mean, again, I see this up here as a different example. Obviously, I'm saying if your website actually does suck and is slow, that's a problem. Okay, but anyway, that's not the situation we had here, so that's not what I'm commenting on. Anyway, so that's our situation. So we did lazy loading. Okay, cool. We did Astro for remote images. Okay, I'm seeing no difference in. Maybe I should navigate it. I think I did it everywhere, but maybe I should just navigate it here real quickly. Just to kind of see. Let's see if anything weird happens. That'll be fun, right? If we have to go do some more weird shit because it broke some other stuff. I don't think it really changed anything else other than the homepage, right? So, and maybe we should look at it on mobile, but I'm pretty sure I already looked at it on mobile and it's probably fine. Home. I'm looking at it on mobile. You're just going to have to trust me. Looks perfectly fine. Okay, great. All right, what's still broken site-wide? The audit found some patterns on other pages. Tool logo, missing lazy load entirely. It doesn't say anything about resources, and I had resources written down. Fix all site-wide issues now, then build a skill. Okay, I don't know why it didn't say anything about... Hey, yeah, I'm down for you to fix those other things. The one I tested was resources, though, and you don't have that in the audit at all. I would love for you to audit the entire website and then every page, and then come back to me with a full report on, like, what you think based on what we've done here so far, what needs done and what needs further optimized. And then I would love to discuss, before you do anything, I would love to discuss ways that we could do this, if there's a way to do this more at a global level rather than on a page by page level. Um, I don't know if that's as simple as just putting in some sort of information into our, I don't know, necessarily Claude MD or et cetera, but I really would not like, I would really rather not have to do this every single time and remind you every single page that we build from here on out on this website or websites in the future. So again, I don't know if you guys, I trust you because I know you guys are smart, but like, I don't know if you guys realize the power of this now. If you had a process before, you had to manually follow the process, which is fine. But now you can put your process into a master document. I'm going to call it, I'm not going to, I guess I'll just call it Claude MD, even though that's probably not the perfect thing. And I probably shouldn't call it, let me just say markdown file. Fuck it. You could put your entire process into a markdown file, and theoretically, it just follows your process. It follows, like, it remembers what's in there. It's moving that into the context, like when you're building stuff or whatever, and it's just doing what it needs to do. Like, you don't have to remind it every single time. You don't have to steer it entirely for all the things that are going to happen basically on every project. I'm obviously in the middle of building that type of thing right now, but you know, that's, I don't know. This is a process, guys. It's not like, you know, it's done in one day. Like the whole, oh, like I've mastered AI in one day. It's like we're all literally navigating this in real time. And that's what I do. I may be wrong, but I think Astro is good for 4 to 5 page websites, but on a larger scale it becomes very hard to manage. Please elaborate. I don't know. I'm not an Astro master. I have been, this was literally the first thing that I've dove into outside of the WordPress realm. And from my experience, it's very similar. It's not similar necessarily from a technical standpoint. It's similar from a conceptual usability standpoint. It is a framework that makes content management, not content management in like the clicky CMS way, but like managing content easy. Effectively, instead of like your database entries and all that other shit that you have in WordPress and your custom post types, those are all markdown files that LLMs work with extremely well. And they're all just like literally in here: content, courses, etc., events, resources. These are like effectively, I don't, you know, I made like a whole video where it was the second time I was learning it, but I did it learning it live. It's the video where it's like it's on my channel. You compare WordPress to modern development, etc., from like, you know, WordPress terms. And it's like, if I was saying that this is a CPT, this is a CPT, this is a CPT, and these are posts, and you know, these are events, so these are posts, these are resources, posts, right? And then your layouts are kind of like your templates. There's actually some things in here. These like libs or library, I don't know if they're actually short for libraries, but whatever these are, socials, that's like an options page essentially, because those hold all of my socials. I should be able to click this, right? I don't necessarily know. Let me just make sure that I don't dox myself on any sort of shit. Yeah, I think we're fine here. Hang on a sec. Yeah, we're good. So like if you open up that socials.ts thing, that this is effectively a like an options page in a way, because like all of these, they're like constants, I guess, or whatever. I don't know necessarily, but you know, again, I'm using the terms that I know to learn on the new things, right? So this is like, if you wanted to put YouTube, like if you wanted to have a section on your footer and then a section, you know, on your contact page or whatever, you really don't want to have those things. This is a bigger point I'm going to make in a second. You don't want to have those things disjointed from one another if they always need to be the same. Meaning that if you need to put your YouTube link in multiple places, you should probably create a source of truth, which is this right here. If I changed this to whatever, like I changed my username, I changed this whatever right here, which I probably wouldn't do, I'd have Claude do it. But if I did that right here, then it would change everywhere. You need to understand that. That's what I mean. Is like, I'm not talking about you specifically, but whoever you are, you need to understand that. And that is literally a concept that's not unique to WordPress, but that is what options are. If you ever used an options page in ACF or Jet Engine, that is what that is, right? So I took those concepts and I brought them over to here. Now it's tough. I'm going to tell you this. This is the point that I wanted to make. It's tough to do this because when you don't have control of the code and you don't know every single line of code and you don't have to physically manually do everything, you have to take a little bit more time to think and make sure that the thing uses some of those best practices. It matters a little less because it's going to do the same amount of work regardless. However, I'll just give you one other example is up here, right? Astro has these components, right? So like arrow links or event rows or headers or footers, et cetera, then all these different things, right? Like even turnstile, like putting it in the forms and everything. It has components, just, I mean, not exactly the same, but similar to what you would think about in a component in a page builder or whatever, right? You got to make sure that it uses that shit if you want it to use that shit. Like sometimes it's not just going to automatically make a component. I'll tell you one other thing that's going to really ruffle your feathers, okay? Sometimes you will say, hey, do you think we should turn this into a component because we're using it like, on this page? It's like a card on this page. Like, should we make it a component? And it says, we could, but there's not really a benefit unless you're going to use it somewhere else. And it's like, oh, okay, well, then I guess maybe we don't, right? So this is why we're talking about earlier. It's like, I'm not trying to propagate cowboy coding vibe code tendencies. I'm trying to teach people what I'm learning with this. And again, like I said, a long rant earlier about the lived experience and like learning these things. But all of that said, you shouldn't demean these tools, the tools of AI, just because people are using it like that. You should fucking use it to your advantage, is what you should. Every single one of you is smart as fucking here. You should be using this as much as you possibly can. Steer it. Make sure that you know what the fuck is going on, at least to a certain degree. I don't think you need to know it like down to the fucking machine code anymore, but I do think you need to know some degree, because that's a business. That's a business decision and a business best practice there. You should know what's kind of going on in your situation, at a higher level like that. So yeah. All right. What else we got here? Okay. One thing is, okay. So 0 images, 0 remote assets, 0 mobile. Okay. The score is 90 on mobile, 10-point gap, almost entirely baseline cost of everything pays. Okay. Bento analytics strip, plausible. That's the floor. You can get these resources research page higher. Okay. Without addressing layout itself. Okay. Full site audit. Here's what pages. Okay. Pages that are already fine. Courses, events, contact. You know what actually would be interesting? I kind of want to do this, but I really don't want to do this on stream because I think it's going to break my shit. We probably should have done this differently because it would have been even more efficient, but I didn't think about it at the time. This just did a great little audit for me, which this is one of the best use cases of AI for it to go through and just kind of see like all the different stuff. But what would be really interesting is if I'm sure you could do this. We could probably put Unlighthouse in here in this project. It could probably look at the scores from Unlighthouse like almost in real time and then get better data. Because right now I imagine it's just guessing at the scores of all. Obviously has no score data on any of these. It's like looking at what we did versus what we had on that homepage. It's looking at the common missteps that we took or that were on there, the common problems that were affecting the score. And then it's just basically extrapolating that onto the rest of the pages that are on the site. What I would really love instead is for it to actually just have all the test data and then just use real data to make its assertions, because that would be way better than guessing. I might ask it a really weird question here for a second. Hey, listen, I know you don't actually have any of the score data for all these, and you're just kind of like guessing what could be wrong based off of what worked for the other one. I have a question, but I'm currently live streaming. So, I'm on a RTX 280 AMD processor from, I don't know, whenever. And I have this open and I'm my stream open and I'm recording and I'm pushing to YouTube in 4K. I had this trouble one time where I brought in Unlighthouse to a project and I accidentally hit it twice and it like basically crashed my whole computer. I'm skeptical. What do you think if I bring it, if we did Unlighthouse right now, if we tried that, brought that into the project, do you think that's going to slow us down heavily and have a problem from a technical perspective? That's the first question. But the second question is more important because I could do this later, is if I gave you Unlighthouse, which go look that up if you don't know what that is, if I gave you that into this project and you were able to look at all of the scores from these pages, wouldn't you have a better idea in real time of what is happening to them so you can make better assertions and better corrections? So a cowboy coding vibe coder that didn't actually want to get better or want to make better software or learn would fucking have no idea to do that. Okay? So I'm with you again when you are concerned that people are doing shit with AI that they shouldn't be doing, unethical, silly, stupid, irresponsible, whatever. This is not that. Okay. I hope we're starting to understand, and it'll take time. And if you don't get it, that's totally fine. I'm not gonna hold it against you. But it's gonna take some time to realize that there are levels to this shit. And you, talking to you, because I know if you're watching this shit right now, I appreciate you, and you're probably you're probably further ahead than me, honest to God, with the level of understanding you have. And if you're not leveraging this and you're not trying to use this stuff, you are shooting yourself in the foot. I think that very soon you're gonna understand that, like, there's levels to it, and there's been bad developers for fucking ever. There's been people that don't care about, like, writing good code or whatever. Now, I know it's a little different now because 'cause we're talking about, like, whatever, but if you're a bad architect, if you don't understand how anything works, if you don't try to constantly think of how can I make things better, how can I learn new tools or learn what the new tools are to how I could leverage them, you're obviously gonna have a bad time. That's not you, though. So don't worry about that. You're absolutely right that I'm guessing based on patterns rather than actual data. That's what I said too. Like, somebody else that doesn't try to learn that isn't going to wouldn't have even made that connection. They would have thought, oh, this thing knows all my scores. Obviously, that's a noob. We don't get mad at noobs unless they continue to be a noob and do reckless shit. We try to steer them. We try to help them. We try to get them into the mindset of, let's figure this out more. Let's dive deeper into understanding without having to go all the way to the very bottom and lose all of our leverage. Lighthouse would give me real okay. Was I saying Lighthouse? Headless Chrome. Yeah, I think what it does is does that puppeteer. That's the problem. Yeah. Yeah, I would not run this right now. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that right now. But we'll do that. I'll do that later. Maybe we should just do some changes on one of them though. Let's just do like maybe the about page. I care about the about page a good bit. I don't really know if it matters honestly because I mean it's so slow already that I don't think it's really gonna do anything. But maybe we could try something else here. I've had a really good time on the stream today with you guys. I really appreciate your time. I was like, how do I set up no follow certain links? How do I open a single blog post? I was like, how do I, oh, fuck, that's really bad. Fuck. Probably that huge image right there. It's probably not optimized. I was like, how do I set up no follow links to certain links? How do I open a link in a new tab on a single blog or a doc for SEO needs? Are you saying you don't know how to do that? I'm not sure I fully understand the question, but I feel like you could just, well, I don't know if you're vibe coding this or not, if you're AI assisted coding, but I would literally, because you and I know that like that's what you want to do, I would just tell it to do that, and it's definitely capable of doing that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm definitely not understanding it properly, but I feel like that's definitely possible. If that's the the angle that we're trying to attack here. This is bad, dude. I don't understand this. This is fucking crazy. These guys with this fucking mobile optimization shit, optimizing or fucking running these goddamn tests. 150 milliseconds. What kind of fucking throughput? These people think that does everyone have a fucking potato for a device still? Like, is this are we serious with this? That's it. Let's fix this shit right now. And then you come down here and you're like, what are we even doing? What is even going on here? Why is this? Oh, you know what? I bet you it's the fucking music on this page. Yeah, guys, have you seen this, by the way? Have you seen this? I don't want to get... Look at this. Is this pretty sick? What's a good song here? What's your favorite song? What's your favorite song? Have you seen this? Vibe coded? I can shuffle them. This is from a playlist in my YouTube music that I gave it. And then I was going back and forth on it, and I wanted to be able to like play some music like on here so you could see like what I'm listening to, like white noise. Yeah. You ever seen this player down here? You ever do like something like this in WordPress, like a player like this? That you don't have to actually do yourself or download a plugin for? It's pretty cool. Yeah, like scrolls with it. You just be vibing. I should make it across the whole site, but I'm sure I could do that, but I don't know if I want to do that, but it's just kind of a cool little thing. You can get rid of it. It's pretty sick. Anyway, don't ask me how I did it. I just knew what I want, and then I had to do it. And it works. So that's that. Hey, listen, this about page is really bad. It's like a 58 or something crazy. Definitely need to clean that one up. Let's just try with that one real quick because I want to just see that, and then I'll do the rest of it elsewhere with the unlighthouse situation because I feel like that's a good idea. But this one's real bad. I think it's kind of a similar situation, right? Like it's I know that I'm loading heavy images down there on those tracks. I wanted them to really look good, and I still want them to really look good, but I also want a high page speed score. So, we got to figure out how to do that. Let's just talk about the about page. If we can get this thing from a 50 to like a 99 on this, then we're going to end the stream right there. Cause I'll just, if I can vibe that, then I'm just going to say no further questions. And the witness is adjourned. Holy fuck, I'm funny. Oh, it wasn't vibe coding the posts. Markdown doesn't have rel tags, etc. All right, here's what I would do for you. I don't know if you're gonna like this, but here's what I do. Hey, quick question about Astro. How do you set no follow links, like no follow to certain links, and how do you open a link to a new tab on a single blog or doc for SEO needs? I'm assuming that's all possible, but how do you do that? I think I understand what you're asking. I don't know if I've had a thing is like, yeah, I mean, that's what I thought is like, it's just like how you would write any other link, right? Unless I'm missing your actual question. But I think if you're writing in MDE files, you got to do, doesn't support natively. You have two options. You can do inline HTML. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is just like inline like that. Or if you switch the file to MDX, you can use components. So I don't claim to know how to write an Astro component though. So I apologize if that's what you thought. But I think I understand what you're saying. Let me go to a quick one here real quick because I'm actually interested because I like to learn regardless of whether if I'm going to type this syntax out or not. Where did I put this? I think I just did this. I think. It was a tool, and it was shit. Hang on a second. Now I'm interested. Hang on. If I go to tools, I go here, I go gear. I just put a piece of gear in here where I put I think I understand what you're saying. Like in the markdown file, you're putting a if you're putting a thing in here, where are we at? What was the thing I just did? Was it this one? No. This is what I look at, by the way, right here. That's what I'm staring at. Was it these? No, I had a thing. I just added something to this, and I just added one of these items to this, and I put a link in the markdown file. And if I could find which one it was, then I could go look at the markdown file. but I can't remember what it was. It was this one I just added, and this one, no, and this one, there it is, right here. So Elgato Solid Arm, maybe this is what we're talking about here. Let's go. Elgato Solid Arm, Elgato Solid Arm, Elgato Solid Arm. There we go. Fucking slide this bitch here. So if this is what you're talking about, that's the syntax that, if that's what we're talking about, it might not be what we're talking about though. Now what I think this is doing is this a component or something? Is there like a way to click to this? This has got to be doing something. There's got to be a way to go to this. I don't know. I don't claim to know how to do this, so that's not my bag. But something like that. So there's that. I'm sure it's possible though. It seems like very straightforward. Kevin Geary doesn't agree that etch is fast. Been working on him. I got faith. He's a very smart guy. He's very talented. He's got a lot of good stuff going on. Etch is very great for people that love etch, and I know he's got a lot of good stuff coming. So I got nothing bad to say. He's my dog. Pushed. All right. So here's what we got. Changes: hero image, track thumbnails, okay, etc. Once deployed. All right. Let's see if it broke. Did it break? If it deployed, I don't know if it deployed. And I don't have, well, I mean, I guess we'll just run it again. Why not? It might have deployed, might not have deployed. I could go check if it deployed. Oh, chat is deleting links. Yeah, it doesn't let you do that for some reason. Are you trying to post your link to your website? I actually thought I had that turned on where you could post links. Hey, 89, we're up there. We're getting there. Let me get the fuck out of here. All right, we're gonna fix this and we're gonna be off because I have another paid advisory call at 2 p.m. If you need advice for your life, or if you just want to yell at me, you can pay me. I would let you pay me to yell at me about vibe coding. I would let you do that. I would absolutely let you do that. You could go right here and you could do that. You could do it if you wanted to. I would take your money if you want to yell at me, or if you actually want advice and you're somebody that wants to, improve your business, improve your life, etc. I would also take your money to do that, and I would give you solid advice, like a lot of other people on that page have said. I've been the most sarcastic and I think I'm funny, but maybe you don't. That's fine. I've been the most cheeky today that I've probably ever been on a stream, so I'm enjoying it. But I'm actually very sincere and genuine. I'm not fucking around. I'm just trying to extend my skills and leverage the stuff that I know, as well as leverage these new tools as much as possible. I have a son coming in May. I would like my wife to be able to stay home and raise our children. And in order to do that, I need to take advantage of the opportunities that are aplenty right now. And I'm not just doing that over in the corner and hoarding everything. I'm literally showing you exactly what I'm doing. So hopefully you can continue to do the same with me, and we could all prosper and ultimately end up having better lives at the end of it, because we don't have to do shit that we don't want to do. And we could just focus on things we do want to do, whatever that is. So that's that. Yeah. All right. Let's finish this real quick. I'm sure we can get this to a 99 here. That's not it. Did I take a screenshot of that? I did. Cool. Hey, listen. All right. We went from like a 50 something to like an 89. Here's the test right now. Is there anything else we could do? I feel like we're kind of in that same spot that we were with the last one, but I don't know if it's actually possible to make this any better. Any thoughts? What are we saying here? The thing is, like, the largest contentful paint, right, is just about this fucking main part, isn't it? And then speed, or maybe that's the first one, but largest, maybe the largest is the bottom. Maybe that's the largest image. That's kind of an obnoxious image too. I'm not saying this is the best design website. Never said that. I don't understand what this one is. Speed index shows how quickly the contents of the page are visibly populated. I guess that's part of this, right? All right. CSS style sheet. Okay. Okay. Force refill flags likely trace. I wish you could export that stuff. It'd be way better if I could do this on Lighthouse, like directly on here. Inline critical CSS. We could add critters. Critters. Add explicit height width to the about page. That's probably this type of shit is probably actually important because like these images, I mean, it's amazing how much bullshit this stuff gives you about images. I mean, it's incredible. The fucking robots, man, they are such a hard ass on images. Man, the fucking desktop one is so slow. Hey, listen, I don't know about that critters bullshit. I don't really want to get super crazy with all this random stuff. But here's the thing on this second one here, anything about images, I know that we're getting fucked on the images, like one way or another, especially on mobile. Like I just know that that's happening. For this about page, yeah, can we add? I guess you're adding a smaller variant, like you're actually creating like another one. I'm sure that that's partially problematic. I know it doesn't like. I know these robots, they don't like this shit. They don't like this idea of using the same image, using too big of images, etc. Can we let's just try that one. Just try B and let's see where we're at with that. And then move the kind of the process and everything like that. I don't know what's in Claude MD right now. Maybe don't put it in Claude MD. Put it in like another markdown file that's like put it in Astro skill.md or something. Maybe I'll put that in my community. Oh, you haven't heard of Modern Builder Society? That's crazy. Maybe you should go there. It's right here. Look at this. Modern Builder Society. Community. Help you navigate AI and all this stuff that we are dealing with in our day-to-day life. This should actually say 40 plus members. Could change that right now. Look at that. $39 a month, or save 3 months and get it for $348 annually. You get the course, the AI-powered WordPress agency course that I launched. You get that all included. It's $199 value. If you just want that course, though, you could also go over here and just get the course. But neither here nor there. We're doing some. Claude is whipping some stuff up for us. Rank math links. No, rank math links. Oh, you mean in the chat? I could have sworn that I turned on links. I could have sworn I turned off moderation because I'm not a baby, and I let people. I let people post links. Hang on a second. Let me see. How are we doing over here? Huh. I don't know. Where are the settings? Oh, they're there. Whoops, don't touch that. I thought I put on links. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, if you're following me somewhere on like X or something, you could DM to me. All right, we got to wrap this up here pretty soon there, boys. All right. How are we doing here? How are we doing here? Okay. Oh, look at that skill file. Oh, what the fuck, man? Yeah. Why did it ask me that? I'm in bypass permissions mode. I don't want you to ask me about anything. Just do whatever you want, man. Also, random rant, okay? Why are you asking me about this shit, dude? I don't want you to. Yeah. Random rant about that is I'm not saying that this thing couldn't delete your whole C drive. It definitely could. But all of this shit, like this fear mongering over the security stuff, I know it was more with like OpenClaw. Honest to God, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I set that up and then somehow my Telegram got banned. My account got frozen. I think it's because I changed my phone number. Like I logged back in for the first time and then I changed my phone number from my personal phone number to my like professional line, and it's frozen. And I tried to appeal it and it will not. I did nothing. Like I set up one bot for like I went through the bot father thing to set it up for OpenClaw. Telegram fucking banned. So I've never done any crypto crazy shit over there. I never did anything. And yeah, it's awful. So that's an aside. But my point is like, I'm not saying security isn't a real thing, but I am saying from the security angle of like you doing something, it's like all these people, even with Claude Code, they were like, oh, it's going to delete my C drive or delete my C drive. Bro, don't fucking tell it to do stupid shit. And honestly, again, if you end up in that position, I'm not saying you deserved it, but I am saying those things are learning experiences and you do have to be careful. Like, it's just so weird, like how a lot of people are like, don't use this thing because it could be dangerous. It's like, okay, don't drive on the highway because people fucking die. Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing that? Why are we propagating that? It's crazy. Be responsible and learn. You don't get more responsible by being scared and shit. That's not how that works. All right, here's what we have. Astro Perf skill. Okay, awesome. Thank you. I don't know why you put it over there, but whatever. I'll fucking grab it later. I know why I put it there because I wanted to be in global, but I need to globalize them, not just put it in my global thing. All right, so it covers 7 roles we proved today. Okay, image okay, page checklist. Did it do this? Did it actually do my work? I think it did the work that I wanted me to do. Okay, cool. Plus an audit checklist. Okay, now I've loaded a rabbit hole. Okay. Yeah, just to clarify, did you you did that stuff, so we should be able to see the potentially new score, right? Did you push everything? That was terrible fucking prompt, the first one. What? Cool. All right, let me double check on the build, but it's probably good. Then we'll check this, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Appreciate all the support, guys. Really do. Love the engagement. Love the questions. Love the back and forth. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I try to be as candid and open as I possibly can with this. Like, this is a new world. You know, I don't claim to. I hope you guys appreciate that I don't claim to be the absolute authority on this stuff. Maybe you need that in certain cases. I get it. If I'm not the man for that, then that's fine. But I'm navigating this. There are things that I know more than others. Fuck. Apparently, it's not that. But whatever. I'll take an 89 on something with a literal fucking YouTube music player on it. But at least for now. But yeah, apparently it's the Contentful Paint. But you know. Desktop's still unremarkably slow. But yeah, I don't know. I think that, like I said, I'm trying to navigate it. I'm trying to navigate it with you guys. I'm trying to maybe like a half step ahead in certain areas, and I'm just trying to like learn, make some mistakes, share those with you through the live streams, through the main channel, through the second channel, through Modern Builder Society. And it's just an interesting time. If I can leave you with anything today, I'll leave you with this, is that I didn't coherently or cognizantly or presently, I don't know. I didn't live through anything else like this. I'm 30 years old. I feel like a lot of you guys probably run the gamut. I feel like if you're from WordPress, you're probably a little older. It's not a dig, but it's just like, that's just kind of what it seems like. So you probably saw the internet pop off a little bit more than I did. I was a small child. Um, I'm sure it was daunting. I'm sure it was different than this, but I'm sure it was severe. I'm sure people's jobs got lost. I'm sure there was a lot of changes that you needed to make to your mentality or your day to day, etc. It opened up obviously a world of things that we could not even potentially think about how we could live without now. And I just think this is another one of those moments. I don't claim to say, and I don't really get into the news part around it. I know there's shit there. I know there's like all the fucking stuff about stealing fucking art and stuff. I get it. I was in the barber shop the other day. I was talking to fucking musicians and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, we hate AI because it steals our stuff." Like, I get it, but you can be mad about it, or you can leverage it. Is the way that I think about it. You're free to do whatever you want. I'm picking the latter. You can keep moving, or just stay where you're at. I know there's like all the other stuff with like, oh, it's using all this water and all these different things or whatever. I don't know. I don't actually. I'm not there. I don't see it drinking water. That's a joke, but I I see this opportunity. I see it as something that is very high leverage and high ability to, my ability to do this and leverage it is extremely palpable, and I can. I've already built cool things, and I'm just going to continue to build more. But I understand that it's a very weird time. I understand there's a lot of worry. I understand there's a lot of pushback. I understand there's a lot of stuff that's driven from personality being connected so deeply to skill. I get it. But it's your own choice. And I think that you should consider moving in the direction that it seems to be going. But again, I have to say this. I don't know what the future is going to hold. I think there's a very, very high likelihood there's no way we put this genie back in the bottle. And I don't see how this could ever like stop entirely. I think that if it stopped entirely, much like, people say don't invest in the stock market because it could crash. Well, it's like if the stock market crashed, everyone would have problems, even you who didn't invest in the stock market, which, I mean, that's a whole nother situation. I choose to not focus on that stuff. I choose to focus on things that I can control and the things that I can leverage and the opportunities that I have. All of the other shit, we could literally all die tomorrow. Like, I'm not worried about AI blowing up. I'm not worried about the US economy blowing up. I'm not worried about the world blowing up. I'm not worried about any of that stuff because I can't control that. The only thing that I can control is what I'm doing for myself and for my family. And this is obviously an opportunity. Other people have already piloted the we're early. We're all early if you're watching this. I'm early, but other people have already done stuff. They've already made a lot of money. They've already impacted a lot of people with these tools. And I'm just following kind of a little bit of their lead and obviously carving out my own path. As always, if you appreciate that, I appreciate you being here. Even if you don't appreciate that, I still appreciate you because genuinely I don't like hating people or anything like that or disliking or whatever. I'm open to hearing different sides of opinions because I'm a very level-headed individual. I like to observe. I like to know how other people think and their experiences and stuff like that. And the more that I can do that, the better that I can be at orchestrating different things, understanding, empathizing, and trying to continue to do the stuff that I want to do. So that's what you're going to continue to get from me every Thursday at 11 a.m. for as long as I continue to do these live streams, as well as inside Modern Builder Society, where I share shit all the time that I'm like thinking about, and then different resources, build sessions, etc. Don't know what else to say. Appreciate you guys. I need to get back on the content train. Now that I have everything foundationally set and I have all these different things, community included, I'm ready to start sharing much more and even more because I was on a little bit of a generational run there for myself the last couple weeks, but we had to set some things up, get some things in motion, and we're going to keep going. So hopefully you'll be along for the ride. I thank you if you are. If not, totally cool as well. Do your thing. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will talk to you in